They say one of the things about insanity, Justin, is that you try to do the same thing over and over and over again. Well, we are a glutton for punishment, and we are here to try to redeem ourselves in some way, shape, or form. After what was a pretty tough brain games edition for the NFL last time out. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another evergreen Chaos After Dark trivia-filled episode of the Sports Agents of Chaos podcast, your favorite NFL podcast going around. And we are here because we are ready to redeem ourselves or fall flat on our faces once again. It's going to be one or the other on this one, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, the Iceman, entering things per usual. And, of course, joined by one of my partners in crime, the games master of this program, Justin himself. Justin, how are we doing?
I feel like I don't necessarily deserve that title after our last game.
It was a tough one for both of us.
I had none of the answers on that one.
Yeah, I don't think either of us really deserved our titles because I was not cool collected like an Iceman normally would be in the situation as well. So it was a tough one for both of us. But hey, look, we're back. We're all about second chances on this program, right?
I have a question. Are we pretending that we didn't just like change shirts and then do it, or is this going to be like, man, it's been 3 weeks since we had this? Like, what are we doing? Because I know this is a recorded episode. So what's the thing? What's the story?
I mean, the people could make up their own stories. I mean, maybe we failed.
Never know. I could have just changed my shirt, I mean, took a shower, and then all of a sudden,
took a shower. Yeah, the hair does look very slick back compared to.
I got a haircut today. Actually, it's not the same day. Everyone
does look very good. Justin,
I ruined the magic.
Exactly. It could have been we recorded the first one at like noon. You got a haircut. I went to work. We both came back, and now boom, here we are 7 hours later, ready for redemption.
Again, you don't know that that's not the case.
Exactly.
I guess nobody else does.
No, it's not like the people. Kayfabe. We try to we try to keep kayfabe in this place, unlike the wrestling world, which is just completely fallen off the face of the earth at this point. I guess we could date ourselves here. Justin, I gotta say, very disappointed in the decisions made by WWE recently. It's very disheartening. They're disappointing us. They're disappointing the people. They're disappointing the fans.
It's a new day and age, so they were bound to go in a different direction at some point. We'll see.
It's a dang shame
with it, but I don't really watch so often, so I was really only watching pay-per-views for like years, anyways. So.
That is honestly more than fair.
I stopped watching when I cut the cord. I didn't have any cable, and then I got Peacock, so I just had all the pay-per-views. So I was like, every now and then I'll watch pay-per-view.
Why not? So, ladies and gentlemen, as we will probably talk about that and various other things, we are here for our redemption arc in this episode. We're going to try to do way better than what we did previously. We have a lot of shorter quizzes in this episode to help us out. We're planning to, hopefully don't go over, 4 quizzes to do here. And if we've timed this out properly, we should be able to do a nice little tier list at the end of the episode. Still using our brain, we think. At least we think we're using it at this current moment of time. But more so a little bit more laid back and opinionated one at the end. But we got a nice little tier list after another quick gauntlet of quizzes. And it's going to be quick because a lot of these quizzes, Justin, are going to be very short times. The first 2 I understand that we're going to do, that we're about to do here, which will be Super Bowl participants in the 2000s and Super Bowl participants in the 2010s, will be the first 2 quizzes that we handle. And then after that, it'll be all about, it's not called a dynasty quiz, but basically teams that have at least repeated in not just the NFL, but the Big 4 since like 1900-something was the early years of it. So will we be able to 100% that one? If we go really fast, we might get close. But, we'll do our best. That's how I see it. So, Justin, I've kind of said it. It's all about second chances for us. So before we do get to these first couple of quizzes here, because since they go fast, I don't want to load them up and take up our time, because I know we both want to be laser focused on these first 2 for sure. So we talked about second chances. We kind of alluded to it in the previous one. You mentioned like we talked about like your time with meeting Rick and I and working with the 2 of us and what that was like. But you dropped some, I wouldn't even say hints. You basically let the people know the fact that QC was kind of your second go around when it came to college. I feel like you made mention of the past. So
it was my 3rd school.
Really? Well, I would say I was thinking more of like at a 4-year program, because I know you had mentioned you went to, you said Nassau?
I did.
Before. I mean, what was that like going to Nassau? I know you kind of mentioned like you took a bunch of like sports-based classes, but what was your experience at Nassau like as a whole?
I don't know, dude. It was so long. It was like 15 years ago at this point. It was long ago.
Did you enjoy it at least?
I think so. I mean, I went out a lot. I was home now, so like whenever anyone was home, you went out, you hung out, and you did all that stuff. So I mean, it was good. It was probably good for me. I got my act together a little bit, and did a lot better in school at Nassau than I did at Buffalo, which helps when you go to class.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
Because you actually just answered my question, because I was going to say, I know you went to Buffalo for a spell, but I had forgotten if you had mentioned in the past if it had gone Nassau, Buffalo, leaving school, then QC, or if you had gone to Buffalo first, then to Nassau, then to QC.
I went to Buffalo first, and I was there for 2 years. And after the first year, they were like, "It's okay, man. Like, you can keep trying." And then after the second year, they were like, "That's okay, man. You could just go home." And then
I thought you were gonna say, "That's okay, man. We'll just keep taking your money." And you were like, "Yeah, no."
No. Yeah, I had to come home. Again, it was just easier to not go to class, so I didn't do that. And then I went to Nassau, and I was commuting. And Nassau, I did great. Nassau, I had 4.0. I think it dropped to like a 3.8 because of one class. But
it's always one class, man.
I blame the teacher. I was like, "Listen, I don't understand this. I'm gonna drop out." She's like, "You're gonna do fine." And then she like failed me. I was like, "Oh no, what's your problem?" Like, I could have dropped the class, and you told me, you like insisted that I stay in your class, and then you failed me anyways. But whatever. And then I took it with a different teacher, aced it. So it is what it is. And then I got into Queens, dropped out last minute. And then I took like a 4 or 5 year sabbatical, I guess. And then I went back to Queens. I worked for a little bit, paid off my loans, paid my way through Queens, and dropped right into the COVID job market.
Which I'm sure was absolutely bustling with jobs.
Well, I tell people all the time, really, college was definitely the best decade of my life. So, yeah.
That's a you got the extended experience plus right there, to say at least. All right. Well, speaking of decades, Justin, we're about to run through a decade and more here. We're about to run through several decades worth of sports teams here right now. So the first quiz that we are going to do, as I pull it up here, apologies, ladies and gentlemen, this old Mac has started going its last legs, to say the very least. We're slowly getting there. Shout out to unofficial sponsor, who, if you ever want to sponsor us, Jams was just right there. So the first quiz, as you can see, Super Bowl teams of the 2000s. So I was kind of explaining this to Justin earlier. The way it's going to work for this one, and a couple quizzes like this, rather than yesterday's where it's going to be blank, all 32 teams are going to be on the screen for us, and we need to make the right decisions, Justin. We need to make sure that we picked it, because the second we pick a wrong team, it's over.
So is it the 2000 season, or like the 99-2000 season?
It's a little complicated. I don't know if it includes. It says up there on the screen, can you pick NFL teams that played in the Super Bowl from 2000 to 2009? So I don't know, because I think because I get what you're thinking, because it's like the 2009 season, regular season, but then the 2010 Super Bowl, does that count? Because I think the 2010 Super Bowl was Packers and Steelers. I don't know if it'll.
That's why I was asking.
Right. I could be wrong. Again, we'll see, but I would guess maybe not.
We'll figure it out on the fly, right?
100%. And the good thing is, as this pops up, this is alphabetical order real quick, so we'll be able to go in alphabetical order. So remember, this is winners and losers. So here on this top row, Justin, immediately for me, talking about early 2000s, the Buccaneers as one of the Super Bowl winners, so we can click them right away as one of ours.
And they played the Raiders?
Yes, they did. So I'm going to very carefully make sure I select the Raiders here.
The Patriots definitely made it several times.
Yeah, that they did, and they beat several teams along the way. They beat the Carolina Panthers, who is right next to them.
They beat the Philadelphia Eagles.
Indubitably. And they defeated the greatest show on turf. Boom. Yes. So we're easy money right now.
All right. What about the Saints? Won in 2007 against the Colts, right?
No, actually. So that's a little bit early in the timeline. So the Colts did win a Super Bowl
against the Bears.
Yes, they did. So the Saints,
later. It was later than that. 2009.
That's the thing. So I forget if it's the 2009 season going into 2010, or if it's 2010 going into 2011. Like those later 2000 Super Bowls always trip me up. I know the Steelers are definitely on this list for sure.
Yes.
As a winner, and they won 2 Super Bowls. They defeated the Cardinals in a very epic Santonio Holmes catch, James Harrison 100-yard pick six, and the first one people might forget they defeated Matt Hasselbeck.
Yeah, and the Seahawks.
So we got three teams left here as we go.
Well, we know it wasn't the Texans or the Titans.
Well, we know that we
the
talked
Giants
about
and the Ravens, right?
yes, the Ravens and the Giants, not only for that Super Bowl loss to the Ravens, but also the Super Bowl win that they had in the decade as well against the Patriots. So we have a bunch of seconds left here. So remember, and this, I think, Justin, so this is the key as to why, because I think what we have here, I know
the Niners or the Saints, but I'm pretty sure it's the Saints.
But see, here's the thing, as we're kind of down here, because the Rams made multiple Super Bowls in the early 2000s, right? They won their one, right? And they lost one. So think about this. I think in either 2000 or 2001 was when they won theirs. I think it's actually because remember they beat the Titans. So what do you think, Titans or Saints? I'll leave this up to you.
I think it's the Saints, but you make your move.
I'll say Titans.
There you go.
And we go 14-0.
God, I was getting nervous there.
As I was
down. We're talking, and that clock is running down, and I'm like, yeah,
it goes by quick, man. It goes by so quick. So yeah, because you know what it is that because this is why, because I think specifically with this, because it goes 2000 to 2009, it goes like January 2009 is the last Super Bowl, and that is the Super Bowl of the or like it just misses out because it's the 09 Super Bowl, then you have the 2009 season, and the 2010 Super Bowl was Saints Colts, I believe. So that's what I believe it was ultimately like that memory for myself is why is what I say. I also think we just got lucky. but it is one of those things where it's like hard to remember because it's like I think like the 2000 Super Bowl I think was Giants Ravens. And then the 2000 season into the 2001 Super Bowl was Titans Rams is how I believe the timeline works out, to say the least. To be fair to Justin and I, we were children at the time, so forgive us for not exactly having the perfect memory on that. But hey, Justin, we're off to a great start compared to last time. We 14 for 14. 14 for 14. And you know what?
That's a good start.
To do it again. Super Bowl teams of the 2010s now, Justin. So once this loads up. Can you pick NFL teams that played in the Super Bowl during the 2010s, avoiding those that did not? So I imagine it should be a similar setup. It should have every single team here. My thing is, and again, I didn't see necessarily. I'm going to assume this person made both of them. So we should be safe to pick the Saints here early. If the Saints is wrong for whatever effing reason, I'm willing to give us a restart because if on the last one the Saints wasn't the answer and on this one it's not, then clearly there's some misconnection. So I believe the Saints and Colts should be our first two because that was the Super Bowl matchup. And if it's wrong, I'm giving us a restart because that's BS if it's not. So are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right, let's play. And let me immediately go to the Colts. And let me immediately go to the Saints. Boom. There we are, early.
All right.
We're thinking
then we also saw the Giants.
Yes, we do.
And the Patriots.
Defeated the Patriots. We have you mentioned the Ravens in the last one. The Ravens also won one in this decade.
Yeah, and they beat the Broncos.
And they defeated.
No, they didn't beat the Niners. The Broncos defeated the Panthers, but they lost to the Seahawks.
Yes, sir. So that lets us knock a couple.
And then we have that Steelers-Packers one, right?
We should, yes. I'm a little scared, but I think it should be because we didn't have Packers in the last one. So boom, there we are.
And boom goes the dynamite. The Bucks one, right? Is Brady's? Is it in the 2010s?
So no, because I think his was like strictly the COVID season. So like the 2020 season into early 2021 is what I think that was.
The Eagles beat the Patriots.
Yes, they did. Good pull. And the Patriots defeated the Falcons in the epic 28-3.
What about Rams Patriots?
I think we literally just got the last two. Dude. Record time for us.
See, that one was easier. That one's more recent.
Yeah. But to be fair, there was because I think what people and again, this is why it's going
I
based
really
off
wanted to go towards the Chiefs. I thought about saying it, and I was like, well, let's just knock out everything else that we know first.
100%.
Before I knew it, they were gone. So
I think the reason why I probably would have argued against the Chiefs is because and this is one of those like I've noticed this in sports. I've talked to my coworkers about like sometimes my memory on like outside of life stuff it connects to sports. Be like, what was happening in sports when like X, Y, and Z happened, right?
yeah,
And the Chiefs were the last Super Bowl champion before everything kicked off with COVID, right? Because a month later everything changed, and I just remember that Super Bowl that happening and us talking about it at work as well. So because this person went by like obviously the day of the Super Bowl, the Chiefs and the Bucks just miss out because separation, of course. But whenever this person makes a 2020s edition a couple of years from now, we know two teams that were definitely picking for that, to say the least. So I can temporarily stop things off for a moment. So Justin, obviously shorter quizzes, but we're 2 for 2 right now. Feeling a lot better than last time.
I feel like they're easier.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair, but also you know what it is. Sometimes it's like you sometimes they're easier, but you sometimes forget the easy stuff, right? You sometimes overthink yourself.
That's fair.
I think we got to give ourselves credit that we're not overthinking ourselves off a cliff here, to say the very least. So this next one, as I mentioned, we're gonna have to once again go quick here. It is a quick timer, 3 minutes this time, but it is going to be all repeat winners in the Big Four. So that is the NBA, the NHL, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. So we have all of them right there. As this quiz will be unofficially sponsored by Duracell for us. So we have all these teams here. That's a lot of teams to say the very least. So, Justin, before we tackle this one, how do you want to go necessarily? How do we want to tackle it? Do you want to go like sport by sport? And so like
that's what I was thinking.
So you want to hit football?
Go back.
Yeah. So you want to hit like let's hit football first, and then we'll just naturally flow it from there.
Yeah, football we should be able to bang out.
100%. So let me know. Actually, I say give it a big stretch. My friend, let's do this. All right, most recent team, of course, the Chiefs.
I was going to go with the first team, which is the Packers.
More than fair.
Yeah.
Packers.
Patriots.
Yes, sir. The Patriots are most definitely there.
The Giants didn't go back to back, right?
No, they did not. And
what about the Steelers? Did the Steelers go back to back?
It feels like they had to. Steelers are definitely. I could probably scroll a little bit there. I think the Cowboys went back to back, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they did.
Did the Dolphins go back to back?
I believe they did. Yes, they did. And did the Niners go back to? Yes, they did. Okay.
The Niners did.
So we're missing. No, actually, hold on. NFL.
We're missing one. Try the Giants.
58-59.
They're doing pre.
Ooh.
Yeah, see, early.
Oh, the New York Giants. So
that's the New York Giants. Okay. Well, then let's just move on to baseball. How about the Yankees?
Oh, well, the Yankees definitely got to be here a good bit.
All right. And
okay. The Blue Jays went back to back in the 90s, very famously.
Okay. All right.
What are we thinking here?
This was not my strong suit. You're gonna have to carry us here.
The 70s. I think the Athletics went back to back.
What about the Reds? I know they're really good for a long time.
Yeah, that's a good shout right there. Also in the 70s. Also, so Major League Baseball. I feel like there aren't too many MLB ones left, actually.
All right, you want to go to hockey?
I just want to confirm. So it's a lot of these early MLB ones here. Okay, we hit a bunch of. I think we hit nearly all of them except for these early ones, which I can't. Did the early White Sox? No. All right. What about one last
Red
thing?
Sox?
All the Cubs.
There you go.
Look at that. All right, yeah. Let's move on. Hockey. All right, the Canadiens. Did the Bruins do it? No, they did not.
Islanders did.
Yes, they did. I'll get them in a second. The Red Wings, the Island. If this could work for me, the Islanders, the Oilers. Yes, despite what they are now, the Maple Leafs definitely did way back when in the days. The Penguins definitely did. The Lightning are the most recent one.
Yeah.
I feel like I've hit so many. Oh, did I hit Flyers? The Flyers went back to back.
Did the Rangers go back to back?
I don't think they ever did, unfortunately for them.
Let's bang out some basketball real quick. The Bulls, the Heat.
Yeah, Heat.
Spurs.
Oh, no, the Spurs actually never went back to back.
They never went back to back?
No, they were always broken up. the Lakers and the Celtics are definitely on there a bunch of times.
Yeah.
To say the very least. We're missing a team in 89 to 90. Oh, the Pistons. Yes. The bad boy Pistons. We're missing a 94-95. Oh, the Rockets. Boom. And we are missing what team? Oh, the Broncos earlier for NFL.
Oh, we didn't do Broncos, huh?
So we completely wiped out one side. Couple here left. Justin, I think we did a pretty good job for
You
all
said
of
the Red Sox. Oh,
is it?
I forgot the Colts too. I knew the Colts.
So the
I would never have guessed the Browns.
The Browns. They were pretty successful, like pre Super Bowl era. So I think probably could have.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed them.
Right, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Chicago Bears, and the Boston Red Sox. So Justin, what was this percent? 90%. It's pretty good.
Not bad.
I think we've that one definitely it demanded us to be fast and efficient, and I like to think we did that, to say the very least, my friend. So there's a quiz playlist here, very interestingly enough.
How many of those did Rick put in there?
This right, honestly, this is just very, very interesting. We got 3 NFL championships. Do you want to hit this one real quick? 3 NFL championships in a 10-year span. I mean, I feel like that'd be pretty.
Let's do it.
Continue this one. Can you name the NFL teams that have won 3 championships in a 10-year period since the start of the playoff era in 1933? There are 20 teams here, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 4-minute. I feel like we might do a pretty decent job at this.
And I feel like you could just name 32 teams in a 4-minute.
All right, shall we do this?
Let's do it.
We're adding this one, ladies and gentlemen. Boom, let us do this. I definitely hit play. All right, good. Trying to cost a second here. All right, let's go. The keyboard is failing me here, but we got the Cowboys, got the 49ers, we have the Patriots, and we have the Chiefs. Boom.
Packers, the Steelers.
Packers. Oh, geez. Steelers.
Who else? In the 80s,
do we technically, because we just did the other one, like do the Lions and the Browns count? Yeah, the Lions.
I think the Giants did. No, I guess not.
No, because they only won, like, I think at most within a close period, proximity 2.
You know what I feel like might be a sneaky team here? The Cardinals in the 40s.
Ooh.
Nope.
Well, the Bears repeated in the pre-era. Oh, dude, the Chicago fans missed the early 1900s. Sheesh. Oh man.
What about the Colts? Did they win 3?
I
don't know if they did.
80, 83, 76, 80, and 83, and then 82, 87, and 91.
Broncos.
I don't think the Broncos are on here. They repeated, but the thing is,
they won 3.
No. They only won 2 with Elway. The other one came way after because it's within a 10-year span.
I thought they won 3 with Elway.
No, they made it to 5 Super Bowls. They lost 2, or they lost 3, and they only won 2.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right.
These 71s. Who are some of the other notable teams in the 70s in the NFL?
The Chiefs win 3?
Nah.
They at first. I don't remember them winning 3 though.
They would have popped up before because we already have them here in the 20s.
I don't think it was the Raiders. Let's go by division. It wasn't the Seahawks. It wasn't the Niners. What about the Rams?
Okay, yeah, but hold on. I might enter the Raiders because the Raiders had an era in the 70s and 80s. Yep.
I thought the Raiders only had 2 championships.
No, because it's the whole Oakland, Los Angeles thing. Like, I think they won 2 of them in one, and then one in the other.
That's what's confusing me.
I think. All right, so we're just missing a team that won in 82, 87, and 91.
Who won in 91?
Oh, would it be Washington, we think?
Yeah.
They made it to the Super Bowl a good amount of times.
I think it might be.
Dude, yeah. Are you a robot? Be honest. I think we just might be. we crushed that one.
Machine.
We absolutely freaking crushed that one, to say the very least. Look at that. We have a bunch of other ones here. This I don't think will because it starts to leave NFL stuff. The more we scroll up and down this thing, but NFL Super Bowl winners. I mean, I feel like for the most part we would kind of get that one. It'd be pretty fast. I mean, I say that we'd probably miss one or two, probably more. Oh yeah, good amount of stuff there. So let's exit for a bit. Let's reassess the situation for ourselves. Justin, we're doing pretty good. We even added an extra one on there. We tacked an extra one on and we crushed it. So we're doing.
What can you say? This is what I expected last time. These are easier. I feel like naming teams is easier than naming players.
Yeah. Honestly, that's part of it. I could try really quick before we move on to that 5-minute one. Do you want me to try to pull up the MVP quiz that I found?
No, I'm not trying to embarrass myself.
You want to keep the good times rolling?
Yeah. I know that I can't do the MVP. My knowledge dips greatly, like mid 80s. So I just know that I could be like, all right, who was the kicker? I'm not gonna remember his name.
Yeah, that's true.
The guy who was on the 40, not the 49ers, the Minnesota Vikings. Great player, the Hall of Famer. He's on the Purple People Eaters. I don't know his name. Can't remember his name.
We know they exist, but we just can't name their names for the life of us.
Yeah, so
that's more than fair.
I just don't think I can name the names.
No, I honestly say this is why I feel like whenever we get a chance to, we need to have an episode where we just play Sporkle quizzes with Rick, because I promise you, Rick would bring us to the finish line.
We should play Sporkle quizzes versus Rick. We'd still lose that.
Yeah, no, we would get our butts handed to us.
we would lose. Yeah, it's fair.
I think it's funny. We would be close on the professional sports stuff. I think if we start to go to collegiate sports, I think he blows us out the water. I think Rick knows his collegiate sports, man.
What makes you think that? Is it because in our group chat when he's talking about Division II swimming?
Look, no man, track and field. No man is more motivated to tell us the Division III City College basketball results.
We haven't had an update like that in a long time. We used to get them all the time.
That's true. I think maybe helping spawn a new life into the world probably has to do with it.
He's the true podfather now.
Probably has to take his job a little bit more seriously.
Just a little bit.
He's got a kid at home and all that. Okay. So I found a quiz earlier. It was from triviacreator.com. It is a 15-question quiz, Justin, where the average score is 8 out of 15. So I did not pre-screen this. I found it, and I'm like, oh, this could be a little bit of fun for us. So I would say, before I pull this up, what do you think? Do you think I think we could probably hit the average? This is not knowing how hard or difficult the questions are, but I feel we could do a pretty bang up job.
We'll find out, right?
So yeah, let's the tech and the sports agents of chaos. We're trying to argue with the higher ups for a bigger budget for the tech, ladies and gentlemen. We have the quiz right here. So this is made by Ian Waddick. It's like Elmer Fudd saying rabbit. Waddick. I hate that. Waddick. So Ian Waddick, shout out to him in all seriousness for making this little quiz for us to have a little bit of fun with. So Justin, this is a 5-minute timer. I say we have a little bit of fun with this bad boy because the tier list might take us a little bit of time here at the end. So you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm again, my thing is going to drop after a certain date. But sure.
Very good. All right, let's play solo, since it might as well just be. All right. Fresh off a national title win over Alabama, what defensive end was taken number 1 overall by the Jags in 2022? Well, I think we know this.
Yeah. Multiple choice, I think we're going to get it. If I had to get the actual.
I think we probably would have gotten Trayvon Walker. Fearsome defensive end with 2 first names helped turn the Browns defense around in 2017.
I wonder which one it's going to be.
I wonder.
Dude, it's Earl Thomas, dude.
Yeah. It says Myles Garrett. I don't know what to tell you. Known for a helmet-jarring hit in a bowl game.
Clowney.
Yep. That was against South Carolina, I think, was that thing. See, what I got...
He was on South Carolina.
Sure.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah. And he made the hit against, I believe, a Michigan player.
See, that's why I struggle with these questions sometimes. Oh, that's right. Oh, you're right. It was against It
was right after they called off a fumble.
Yes.
It was the biggest ball on line play of all time in college.
7 seconds. Eric Fisher for that one. It was the
I didn't realize we had a timer.
Yeah, I forgot it too. So, despite a decent start, what defensive lineman taken by Houston in 2006 wasn't so super? As video game players, I think we know the answer to this one. There's only one name that makes sense here.
Yes.
Rams made the right choice when they took this offensive lineman and future Hall of Famer in 1997.
Orlando Pace.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, NFL Street.
At USC, this wide receiver's quarterback just threw him the dang ball enough for the Jets to make him the number one overall pick in 1996. I mean, Justin, you definitely know this one.
Sean Johnson.
This is which Penn State running back finished second in the Heisman Trophy before being drafted by the Bengals?
The Bengals is not Saquon. Corey Dillon.
Is it Corey Dillon or is it Carter?
Could be Carter. I don't know. I just saw Bengals running back and I assumed Corey Dillon. I don't know where he went to school.
I will trust you. I'll say Corey Dillon. It was Kajana Carter. Well, hold on. So we'll finish this quiz, Justin. I want to talk about this. This and I'm reading it. So, what future superstar running back spurned the team that drafted him first overall in 1986, spurning the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I think this one is all me. Bo Jackson is the answer.
I will. Yeah.
Yes, because I have a. We could go deep down a little bit of a rabbit hole if you're willing, Justin. When we get back to that. Which former Michigan Wolverine was number one overall in 08? Long. It has to be Long, right?
Was Long the first overall pick?
Yeah, it's not any of these guys.
I mean, I know it's not Braylon Edwards, and I'm pretty sure Jabril Peppers went later also.
I
didn't know. I don't remember Jake Long being a first-round pick, a number one overall pick.
I think it was by the Dolphins. In 2000 draft, a pair of Penn State players went first and second overall. Who can claim to be top dog that year?
Where's Rick when you need him? I have no idea.
Seriously, I know LeVar Arrington was second.
Quarterback.
I don't remember. Was he a first overall pick? I'll say maybe Courtney Brown.
There you go.
That was a guess. The top pick in the 1991 draft was part of all three of the Cowboys' championships in the 90s. Was Emmitt Smith first overall? Or was it?
I'm going to start dipping. I have no idea.
I'll say Larry Allen. Oh, it was Russell Maryland. Wow. Okay. This top pick by the Colts in 1992 was a start at the University of Washington before injuries caught up with him in the NFL.
I'm going to say Bob Sanders.
Yeah, I feel like that sounds about right. Oh, Steve. Well, okay. In a draft that featured Marshall Faulk, this defensive lineman was taken above all players by the Bengals in 1994.
Well, we know it's not Kijani Carter.
Yeah, definitely not. I feel like I've seen this story about this. I'm going to say it's Wilkinson.
I don't know why Leroy Butler is standing out of me, but I've been wrong twice so far. So let's go with you.
I changed to Butler for you. Damn it.
I told you not to. I was telling you not to. Why would you go so quick?
We only have 20 seconds. In 1980, this Heisman-winning Oklahoma running back was taken number one overall by the Lions. I have a decent guess.
Yes, that's a pretty good guess.
What?
Oh, they tricked us, man. We're falling off.
Wow. Hey, at least we beat the average. But dang, that was tough.
We had a tough stretch towards the end. This is why we need Rick.
Yeah, no, 100%. He would have gotten us 15 for 15 there, to say at the very least. So we passed that one. Hey, it's a passing grade. C's get the degrees, as they say. Is 10 divided by 15 a C? Anyways, before we move on to the tier list, real quick. So the Bo Jackson story is a tale to spin, to say the very least. So when Bo Jackson was coming out of the draft, Justin, I think by that point, I don't know if they already had the first overall pick or if they knew they were going to get the first overall pick, because I think this was like pre the lottery, if I'm not mistaken. But the Tampa Bay the Buccaneers back then basically wanted Bo Jackson, right? And who wouldn't? The electric star running back out of Auburn. He was literally a video game character come to life, as Tecmo Bowl would show later on. But remember, as we know, he was a dual sport athlete, right? Not just in the pros, but also obviously in college. The Buccaneers owner at the time, Hugh Culverhouse, I forget the exact situation of if they flew out to see Bo and then they flew him somewhere. It was basically like Bo Jackson was going to be like, essentially did a visit with the Buccaneers. Now at the time, we know, especially the strict rules with the NCAA, right? If he agrees to do this with the Buccaneers, it would be counted against his eligibility for college baseball, because it would have been seen as him being given an improper benefit. Now, is it stupid? Yes. But that's how the rules were back then. The Buccaneers lied to him and told him that they had cleared it with the NCAA for him to come on and it wouldn't affect him. So he does the trip, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He finds out later, I don't know how deep into his last season of college baseball, but he finds out that wasn't cleared by the NCAA. The Bucs lied to him. Hugh Culverhouse lied to him. And he is deemed ineligible for the however many, I don't think it was the full season. Maybe the source I was reading may have worded it incorrectly, but he was basically not allowed to finish out his last collegiate season playing baseball. And he was mad. He was mad to say the very least, to the point where, like I said, the Buccaneers had the first pick. Bo Jackson very much said later on that he believed the Bucs did that on purpose to make it so he couldn't play Major League, to not just he couldn't finish collegiate baseball, and maybe that would have hurt his stock either in the Major League Baseball circles or at least maybe dissuade him from going into Major League Baseball. It did not, to say the very least. Hugh Jackson, I'm starting to cross Jacksons here. Bo Jackson told Hugh Culverhouse that they were basically wasting the first overall pick, and he would not sign with the Bucs if they drafted him. They drafted him, and he never went. He played baseball, and I think if it wasn't from him saying, I think most people would have believed at the time. I don't think Bo Jackson ever planned to play NFL, but it was, win, baby, win. Al Davis picked him with the last pick of the draft the following year after he was picked first overall, and was given to gave Bo every clause succession possible to let him play Major League Baseball and then come into the NFL and help out the Raiders. And Bo was very much interested. And of course, there's a little bit of cash that went with that as well. I believe his first signing bonus was like $500K, which for the time is kind of crazy.
That's a pretty good. I would take it.
No, 100%. And Al Davis gave him full autonomy to handle Major League Baseball duties and then come to the team after. He did that for a couple of years, as we know. He made a Pro Bowl and an All-Star game. It's absolutely insane, but yes, that's the story. There is a YouTuber who's done multiple videos like that, looking at the time of tumultuous owners of various teams, and the Buccaneers were one of them. And I just remember that story standing out because it's you did that to the top guy. It was a bold move, Cotton, and it did not pay off, to say the very least.
No, well, it's part of the reason that the Bucs were bad forever.
Oh yeah, because I'm fairly certain this was the same guy that was around the team when they went when they lost 20 plus games in a row. So not great, to say the very least. Not great at all. Now, Justin, I think this is apropos for what we're going to do. This is, I believe, unless we find a quiz here, unless in the archive somewhere we find one, I think we're going to have a little bit of fun with this one. We're going to do a tier list here, which we've done a tier list before. It wasn't NFL related, but we've done a tier list before here on the on the show. And under here is the logos for all 32 teams. And unless we want to change it, Justin, I feel like we just do a fun little thing of tiering the logos of the 32 NFL teams.
Sure.
If we do it like that. This is to celebrate in the NBA, the Orlando Magic just went through a rebrand here recently at the time of recording this. And I must say, Justin, it do be looking pretty spiffy if you ask me. So we could either do it on logos, or if we want to, we could do it on something arbitrary like organizational stability if we want to do it something like that. But I'll leave it up to you, Justin. Do we want to do based on logo, or do we want to do some a little bit extra?
Let's do logo.
Let's do logo. All right. What do we think of these teams' logos? And this is all lined up in the divisions, so this is perfect for us. All right, Justin, what do we think of this Bills logo? It's kind of boring.
Is okay.
Yeah.
Solid. I'd say probably a C or a B. Nothing extraordinary about it.
Yeah.
We
could reorder this as we go along. I think it's a solid B tier.
Okay.
The Dolphins logo used to be better when it had an eye, when it had a football helmet on it before. The Dolphins logo used to be way better. This Dolphin is just boring.
Yeah, I feel like the newest one is not as good.
You want to put it in the D tier?
Yeah, D or C maybe.
I'll put D for now. I feel like the Dolphins logo was one of the ones where it was a victim of the simplicity and the very boringification is what I'll call it of logos throughout the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
The Patriots. What do we think of the Patriots logo? PTSD aside.
No, honestly, I never really thought it was a cool logo. I guess maybe some people like it. The older one I think is definitely cooler.
I agree.
I just never really that logo never did it for me.
I think we could put it in the C tier for now. And again, we'll reorder this a bit at the end. But I say B, C, and D right now for here. Where do these guys go, Justin?
You can fail them. I don't care.
I mean, I do kind of like, the jets in the football. It's kind of meant to be the laces on the ball. They have the little jet there. I think it's a pretty good logo. I don't think it's too bad.
It's all right. It's not better than the Dolphins logo. It's not. It's just a name, dude.
I agree. I don't know.
I got a plane wing on it. Come on.
I feel like it's better than the Dolphins logo, just barely.
I mean, but I don't think it's
if
better enough to. I mean, yeah, if you're going to put
Uh-huh.
the Patriots there, I guess that's fair. But I don't really think it's like.
Do you think that's fair?
I don't think the Patriots logo is any better. It's about the same.
No, we could put them in D tier.
You don't have to put them behind the Jets, though.
Patriots top of the D tier. All right, let's move on to the AFC North. I think this is actually a pretty solid collection of logos here.
Yeah, that's not really the Browns logo, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's the helmet anymore. To be fair, either. Like,
yeah, but at one point it was the elf. Like they have like a different logo every year.
Yeah. Do we put them in E for get your act together? Should we
effort.
E for effort. E for effort for the Browns. I think these three logos here are very, very good to say the very least.
The Steelers logo is iconic.
Yeah. The Steelers. If anything, obviously we're just scrolling up here a little bit. I think. Do you wanna just put everything?
It's definitely an A tier.
S tier?
Could be an S tier.
How about this? We'll decide S tier at the end when we have like all our A tier candidates.
That's fair.
Let's do that. Do you want to put Ravens in the? I think Ravens and Bengals are pretty cool. I like the claw of the Bengal in the B here. Yeah. I like the Raven. Like I think the coloring and everything. I think both are like solid. Again, I just have to move them up here. Solid like B tier logos. Ironically, Bills, Baltimore, and Bengals all in the Bs.
That's what it is.
We got the AFC South here. What do we think of each of these?
I always like the Texans logo.
It's not a bad one. I like it. The 1 star for the Lone Star State, Texan, the bull. I think it's actually pretty creative. I think, honestly, it's pretty. I would argue it could maybe be A tier.
Okay.
I would argue A tier for it. What do we think of the horseshoe for the Colts?
At least a B.
That's fair.
It's just a classic.
Again, the limitations of the screen. Screen crunching, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't just exist in video games. It exists on tier making as well. What about the Jags and the Titans? Do we like either of these?
I go back and forth on the Titans logo a lot. The Jags is cool. I think I like the original Jaguars logo the best.
Yeah.
To be completely fair. Are we penalizing teams for like just not having logos? Like if they make their logo worse?
Yeah, sure. 100%.
It's not a bad logo, but it's not a great logo. That's a B tier logo.
The Jags? I would say maybe C tier just for the I think the penalty of
downgrade. Okay,
the logo is better.
The Titans are a C or a B too. It's not bad.
I'll say top of the C tier for now.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the T. It is kind of cool, but yeah. The last of the AFC here: the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Chargers.
Well, the Broncos is also a classic logo.
Yeah, you love the horse there. I think Broncos. Maybe you could be. What do you think? Do you want to? Again, we can reorder this at the end. Do you think B tier, or do we maybe think A tier?
I'll put them up in the A.
I don't disagree. I think it's a good logo. What about Kansas City? The Arrowhead for obviously the KC.
Hard to vote against like the real classic logos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Chiefs and the Raiders, both classic logos.
I think at minimum B tier, like minimum.
Yeah.
Let's get them both here. What do we think of this Chargers one? I feel like it's been a bolt for so long. It's
always been a bolt, but I think the bolt has changed.
Yeah, the bolt's definitely changed, but it's just like I don't know. It's iconic, right? But it's just like It's
kind of
Yeah, I think C. Whoa,
wrong
C tier.
I see little B.
C little B. We can maybe. I don't know. I think these are a little bit better than that, honestly. I think top of the C tier for the Chargers, at least. All right, move on to the NFC side of things. The Cowboys, the Giants, the Eagles, and the Commanders. Again, basing it off pure logo, gut reaction for me, Justin. The Giants in either D or E, and the Commanders in F, just because it's literally just a W.
Commanders one is not a good logo.
What happened?
It's just not a good logo. It's just I don't know. And then it was a cop out when they took it.
Yeah, and then E for lack of effort for the Giants.
See, I want to like trounce the Cowboys logo, but like it is one of those classic ones.
Yeah, it's the star.
It's got to be at least a B, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say definitely like middle of the B tier, somewhere in there.
Like it's so boring, but like it's been such a classic.
Yeah. Eagles, it's Pretty
It
good.
was a solid logo. Yeah.
I feel like it's been pretty consistent for so long. I would argue the logo could be like A tier.
Okay.
I feel like there's strong feelings in there, but I feel like you don't want to share them.
No, I don't disagree with you.
All right, what do we think of the NFC North?
Oh, you got to give it to, I guess, really most of them, right? I mean, the Bears also have a cool logo. All four of those logos are pretty solid.
Yeah, I think all four of them are at minimum B tier. So let me just at least add them up here, and I will bump them up here in a second just to do it. So what do we say? I mean, the Viking feels so like maybe not iconic, but it's been this for so consistently long. Like
Vikings and the Packers have to be up there.
Both right? A tier, and the Bear. It's pretty good. I feel like it's better than just the C. Like I know
it's definitely a B tier.
We grew up with the C, but it's like
are the Lions a B tier also?
I would think maybe at the bottom because I feel like it's been this for a bit. Obviously, with like shading and coloring differences. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you think? I don't know. I'll let you. Do you think bottom of the B tier, or do you think maybe top?
I was thinking maybe higher, but
really,
yeah,
like maybe around the Cowboys.
Yeah, that seems about right. But I'm playing Thanksgiving together in the B tier.
That's that's true. All right, NFC South. What do we think?
I've always liked the Saints. I feel like the Saints have a good logo, and so do the Bucks.
Yeah, let me do a similar thing here. Let me bring up all the logos left here. Yeah. Just so we have them all in one row to make life easy. So don't worry, fans. This is not the ranking. We're just gonna reorder it from here. So you're saying the Saints should be Saints? I do like the Saints logo as well. Do we think
Saints are B
tier?
I think so.
Right there. But I do vibe with because the flag is hanging off a sword. The skull
but like it is still worse
than the previous one because it was more bony. Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I feel like a downgrade would make it a B.
For the Buccaneers?
Yeah, the downgrade penalty makes it a B.
Bottom of the B tier?
Right. Yeah.
Carolina, it's all right. I don't think it's crazy.
C tiers. I think they're in the right spot.
Oh, like right there?
Well, I don't know about order. I'm talking about tier-wise.
Yeah. What about the Falcons?
They're about the right spot. I think the only one that you'd probably move up is the Seahawks and the Niners. I like the Rams logo. Maybe I'd put it at top of the C tier.
Copy. I kind of agree. It's grown on me. I think when it first came out, I think all of us were just like, really? But I think it's grown on me. So we think the Niners and the Seahawks both in the A tier?
Seahawks could be A or B.
I think keep it at one line. Let's put them in the A tier for now. Just have a little bit of fun as we promo the NBA Finals here. So this is our tier list right now. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is just strictly based off of logo. So you see this logo, and what do you feel? I think this is kind of like consistent. I think just the W is the F tier. Do better. The
only thing that I think really transcends the rankings has to be like classic logos.
Yeah.
So for that, I mean, I'd only put 4 teams in there.
So I was gonna say. So now for a little re-ranking for us, I think C and below. I think we're content with. I think for us, how many teams do we want to put in the S tier? Do you think it should just be like a top 4?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right. Who would be like your immediate like? I think the Steelers one has to be one of the S tier ones.
Steelers and the Niners for sure.
Just so iconic.
Yeah, and then good. I mean the other ones that I would put. See, the question is, do the Vikings make it? Because like I feel like the Broncos have a cooler logo, so maybe the Broncos make it. But you can't put the Vikings in front of the Packers, even though the Vikings do have a pretty cool logo. Right? Is that just me?
I do get what you're saying. I think both do their job well, and I think I don't know. I feel like the Vikings have been so good for so like just the logo has been so consistent. Like I do get what you're saying. Like I do see the argument, but I also like I don't think it's right to have either of them a tier above the other. I think they're both two really good logos.
I disagree.
Really?
Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. I don't know. I'm leaning more towards the Packers.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
The Broncos.
Maybe I'm the wrong one here. See, like I know we're going for prestige, but I think we're just I don't know. It's something about the bull with the Texans. Just I don't know the colors, the star.
It's too new for me to be like it's an S tier logo. You know what I mean?
But just because it's new, it doesn't mean it's not really good.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's definitely a me thing. definitely a me thing.
So this, I mean, we also could just keep it like this. Do we want to feel like, do we want to graduate anyone from B tier to A tier?
That's what I was thinking. I think if we moved some A tiers up, we could definitely maybe move up a B tier or two.
So how about let's move up the Broncos. I agree. I think it is a S tier, and I'll move up the Packers as well. Right. So we got these four in the S tier. I think the Saints are an A tier logo.
That's fair.
I think they're definitely an A tier logo. And I feel
the ones that I'm considering right now are the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Ravens.
Chiefs, Lions. I feel like of them, Chiefs, Lions, and Ravens. See, maybe this is just me. I do like the creativity of like it's literally the arrowhead with the KC in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is cool. I think the most creative one of those three is the KC one. I think obviously the one with the most history I think is the Lions one.
The Chiefs have a lot of history, and so do the Raiders.
That's true. The Raiders won. It's poor. See, honestly, I mean, again, I know like fonting, shading, maybe like the actual like. I feel like the Raiders won. I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't changed since they became the Vegas Raiders. I feel like that would have been
a team with that kind of history wants to rebrand.
That's right. At least like you keep the name, but maybe change the logo and stuff.
Yeah.
And even like I know they technically are silver and black. I don't know. I just feel like I obviously I mean I think they've done the city of Oakland dirty the last decade plus, taking the Raiders, the Warriors away from them, the Athletics. Oh my God, poor city, man. I don't know. I feel like God, if the Bucks logo just wasn't so like if this was like the 2000s Bucks logo, I think it would be A tier. But it's not. It's unfortunate. I don't know. This is we need to phone a friend. We need the Podfather here to
right.
Because I feel like with two people, it's like we go back and forth. Where it's like we have the third person here to help bring it out.
What are the ones we're considering right now?
Well, your first three you named were Ravens, Lions, Chiefs, Raiders, or Chiefs, and then we brought in the Raiders in the combo here at the end.
And which ones are you not considering? Doesn't sound like you're considering the Ravens.
No, it's
B for B tier.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's cut one more out and we can move two up.
Yeah, I agree. So between the Chiefs, Raiders, and Lions.
Oh my.
That's a good one. I don't know. I feel like the Lions one should be moved up there.
Okay.
I think the Lions. I feel gut reaction because yes, obviously they've screwed up the team so much. I don't know. That Raiders logo, like you said,
like recency bias makes you want to pick the Chiefs, but realistically, historically, I mean, to be fair, historically they're both kind of like that though.
Yeah,
that's
true. That's
like
true.
the Raiders were the flashier team, but it's not like the Chiefs have a poor history.
Yeah. No,
although there was a real lapse.
They did. They did have some dry years. Then again, the Raiders have had the dry years more recently, so it could go either way. We could also just say screw it and put both of them in the A tier. No one said the A tier has to be less than the B tier.
I just feel like it's.
But it should be more limited. Like we have 9 teams between the S tier and the A tier. I feel like I miscounted. I think we have 10.
More than 10 between A tier
the S
tier. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like 10 is a good number. Like that's about a third of the league. Final call here, Justin, as we hit the waning moments of the show and we recap this. Flip a coin.
Flip a coin.
Hey, where's my coin?
Chaos.
Here we are. Got a coin here. Got a coin.
Which one's which?
So what are we flipping? So let's go heads for the Raiders. Let's go tails for the Chiefs. All right. I'm terrible at flipping coins, but I will try to do justice here. Are we ready? A live coin flip here on the program. Do you see it?
Nope.
Heads. It's heads.
All right, move it up.
All right. The Raiders logo moves up to
that might be the right answer.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
It might be. So finalizing our logos tier list, ladies and gentlemen, on this. And realistically, this tier list, it just has logos. We could have turned this tier list into a thing. We could have made it maybe our thoughts about the coaching. We could have made our thoughts about the organization, roster construction. But no. That's basic. We want to do logos for you. That makes life easier. So our Sports Agents of Chaos 2025 NFL logo tier list. Let's go from bottom up. In the F tier, we have the Washington Commanders. I think that speaks for itself. In the E tier, we have the Cleveland Browns, which we're still 50-50 on this is the actual official logo or not, and the New York Giants. In the D tier, we have the Patriots, the Jets, and the Miami Dolphins. In the C tier, we have the LA Rams, the LA Chargers, funny enough, LA, both in the C tier, the Tennessee Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Carolina Panthers, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Arizona Cardinals. In the B tier is where it gets good. In the B tier, we have the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, the Dallas Cowboys, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Chicago Bears, the Indianapolis Colts, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the A tier, we have the Houston Texans, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Minnesota Vikings, the Seattle Seahawks, the New Orleans Saints, the Detroit Lions, and the Vegas/Oakland/Los Angeles/West Coast Raiders. And in the S tier, the sacred four that we have here is the Pittsburgh Steelers, the San Francisco 49ers, the Denver Broncos, and the Green Bay Packers. Justin, I think it's a pretty fair logo tier list overall.
I think so.
I think that is that's perfect right there. Is official for the people. So boom, that is our thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. And if you disagree, well, it's our tier list. Do your own. Ultimately, so we had a good bit of fun there, Justin, to end off the one. We did way better in quizzes today than we did. We got 2 perfects. One we were pretty close, right? Like 80-something% on the repeat champions one. That surprise NFL quiz we did later on, which we actually also got 100 on. So we have 300% today. We passed that one extra quiz I found. We did better than the average. We had a solid tier list. I think, Justin, we redeemed ourselves.
I think so too.
I think we've redeemed ourselves. Our knowledge is back. And when people watch us, if they've seen both these episodes, they're going to think, wow, these guys know stuff. I think that's going to be the summary and the takeaway of everything after all, which is exactly what we want. We want all of you to believe that we know stuff when it comes to our future NFL analysis. This is later on in this beautiful summer, ladies and gentlemen. Because the summer of 2025, I feel like I haven't said it enough here in recent episodes, but the summer of 2025 is going to be the Sports Agents of Chaos summer of 2025 and beyond is what we're going to do. We're going to bring back the division previews later on in the summer. We're going to do, just like we did last year, we're going to do our last to worst to first rankings of how we feel the teams that finished worst in their divisions, respectively, last year. What potential shots they have at finishing close to, if not first place, in divisions this year. We had a pretty decent, not too bad of a track record last year. I feel like we had 1 or 2 teams that got relatively close that at least made the postseason for what we did. So yeah, I think Podfather and I did a decent job. We'll have that. We'll have our division previews, and we'll have more as we gear up for the 2025 season, which I think, Justin, is set to be a pretty good one. Justin, closing thoughts for the beautiful people as we finish up this week's episode.
Bye.
Wise words from the games master himself, who has regained his title. Very much so. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this week's edition of the Sports Agents of Chaos podcast. We always appreciate when you guys join us, even on an episode like this where really it wasn't too much. Again, a little bit of fun.
No information.
Yeah, no information. No football facts drop. But no thoughts, empty head, just lazy river, just chaotic brain games, and just vibes, which is really what the show is all about. We are all about the fun, football, and chaos every single week. We thank you for joining us on this week's edition of it. And don't worry, we will have more soon. We'll have more information-filled episodes here soon enough on the channel. But thank you for joining us on a nice little edition of the show for us here. We'll see you all next time, or we'll hopefully be a complete triumph once again. So thank you, everybody, for this one. And bye-bye now. Take care.